Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at 6 common car driving errors. Because this is a Queensland-based tutorial, the QSafe testing procedures are the basis of my comments. Please note that other states and territories may differ. Please see your relevant state and territory information for your specific location. Okay, so common error number 1 is anything steering related. The hand positions on the steering wheel should be 9 and 3 or 10 and 2. And that's if we were viewing the steering wheel as a clock face. One of the reasons why your hands would be in the correct positions is in case of an accident and the airbag deploys. We can see in the diagram here that the driver has bent arms, and in the event of a crash that the face goes towards the airbag. They say generally that you should be sitting approximately 25 to 30 centimeters away with the airbag facing towards your chest. In terms of steering control, drivers should steer a safe and steady course and maintain the correct course in a manner that is appropriate for the road and traffic conditions. In terms of steering operation, drivers can operate the steering device in an appropriate manner. That is, hand-over-hand steering or the pull-push method. And some people like to use a combination of the two. For example, someone might use pull-push steering to go through a roundabout, and they might use hand-over-hand in a car park situation. After a person has steered around a corner or a roundabout, it is permissible for the steering wheel to slip back through the hands of the driver, providing that they maintain control of the steering. Here we can see a common steering error where the driver doesn't steer a steady course. For example, wanders off course, jerky operation, unaware of incorrect position of front wheels when moving off. Other common steering errors include placing hands inside the rim of the steering wheel, steering with one hand only except for when reversing and operating vehicle controls, steering with the palm of one hand, holding the steering wheel with arms crossed or in a manner that restricts movement of the wheel, for example, one arm resting on the door, removing both hands from the steering wheel while the vehicle is in motion. Okay, common error number 2 is shoulder checks. A lot of people don't do shoulder checks, or they don't do them consistently. We have blind spots on the vehicle. The grey sections in the diagram show where those blind spots are in relation to the orange vehicle. We've got those created by the window pillars. We've got those on the right and to the left as well. And it's important that a driver observes and scans 360 degrees around the vehicle. Here's an example of where a driver would be required to do a right shoulder check. You must give way to all other vehicles and signal for at least 5 seconds when you drive onto the road from a park position on the side of the road or in a median strip. Another common error in relation to shoulder checks: the driver fails to shoulder check and signal prior to making a lane change or divergence where there is significant lateral movement, which would include moving off from the side of the road. Common error number 3 is speed control. We still have a lot of people driving over the speed limit. Speeding is defined as driving over the posted speed limit or at a speed that is inappropriate for the driving conditions. For example, rain, fog, traffic volume, traffic flow. Speeding is not safe in any circumstance. Common error number 4 is the management of stop signs and stop lines. When you approach a stop sign or stop line, single unbroken line, you must come to a complete stop. You must stop before the line and as close as possible to the line. If there's a stop sign but no line at an intersection, you must stop before and as close as possible to the intersection. At all other places where there's a stop sign but no line, you must stop before and as close as possible to the sign. Common error number 5, anything reversing related. Let's take a look at observation and scanning requirements when reversing. Drivers should scan, observe, and monitor the driving environment in every direction as appropriate to the driving task. When reversing, it is expected that the applicant uses all-round observation that combines physical vision to the rear, through the sides, internal and external mirrors, and vision improvement devices if fitted. A high level of concentration is expected in the direction of potential dangers. In relation to reversing, you can steer with two hands on the steering wheel or have your right hand at the top of the steering wheel and your left hand bracing on the passenger seat or center console. Shift your seating position slightly to the left to maximize vision at the back of the vehicle. If a student is doing the reversing exercise in the driving test, they will be required to reverse in a straight line for 25 to 30 meters, staying within 50 centimeters of the curb. Go slow and make small steering adjustments if required, between 11 and 1 on the steering, thinking of it as a clock face. Start and finish parallel to the curb and look mostly out the back window whilst reversing. However, make quick checks for hazards, e.g. look ahead for vehicles. Note, a hazard is anything that can cause danger. Repeated key point, mostly look over your shoulder, your left shoulder, out the back window. The student can make occasional checks on their left mirror and line the door handles up of the car with the concrete/bitumen line. Stop and give way to any road users that approach, for example, a car, a bus, or a cyclist. Don't just use your reversing camera or just look in your left side mirror. You need to mostly look out the back window. If a student only uses the reversing camera, it will be deemed a critical driving error by the examiner, test result unsuccessful. If the student only uses their left mirror, it will be deemed a critical driving error by the examiner, test result unsuccessful. Don't mount the curb, and that leads us to common error number 6. If the student rolls up an angle curb without mounting it, it will be a non-critical driving error. However, the student will be unsuccessful in the driving test if the test vehicle strikes another object, for example, vehicle, power pole, or pedestrian, resulting in the result or actual damage or injury. This includes mounting the curb with one or more wheel. The student will be unsuccessful in their driving test if the examiner is required to intervene either verbally or physically to prevent an accident, to prevent a dangerous situation occurring, for example, inadequate vehicle control that could compromise safety, to help the students through any part of the test because their inability, that is, when it becomes necessary because of safety or inadequate time to complete the test. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.